we've long been proponents of Trump's just outward complete Bidenization on this podcast, right? He's very, look at the graph, sweaty, ignore your life, everything's going to be fine, just look at the graph. He's an old man, he's doing a lot of Biden things. And then we had a brief intermission talking about the Bushization of Trump, with,
which is arguably worse,
launching a forever war in the Middle East. But what happens when those things intersect?
Oh my God. This is the question we've been asking.
This is intersectionality after all. And I think I have one just beautiful clip to share with you all that shows you exactly what happens when the Bushization and the Bidenization of Donald Trump combine.
We all have two wolves inside of us.
Yep.
And for Trump, those wolves are Biden and Bush.
And they're yelling.
And here we're seeing them fuck.
They're fucking, and they're howling, and their howling is like constructive waves, constructive interference, just building to form something new. And so I want to share with you what that new thing is.
Iran today accused the U.S. of hitting a desalination plant in Iran. And they said that might open the door to other strikes on infrastructure, non-military.
Us to also open the door to other strikes against them.
Look, you respond to that allegation. Did the U.S. hit the
desalination? They are among the most evil people ever on earth. They cut babies' heads off. They chopped women in half. What they did, take a look at October 7th. Take a look at what they've done over the last 47 years.
This is just Biden's
So I know nothing about a desalinization plant other than to say, if they're complaining about a desalinization plant, we complain about the fact that they shouldn't be chopping babies' heads off, okay?
Actually
Jesus Christ,
insane.
He's getting the propaganda mixed up.
Yeah, it's Bush. It's Bush because we are involved in a war in the Middle East, and it's Biden because he's lying about things that they're doing.
Yeah, no, like getting the propaganda mixed up is crazy. Like, it wasn't Iran that was accused of beheading babies; it was Hamas that was accused of beheading babies, and then we found out that was a lie anyway.
Yeah, Biden was just lying. Biden got out there and said he saw pictures of that happen. It was a lie, or dead babies or whatever. He was lying.
And once again, the point that we've been making for quite some time now, when people already recognize that events like October 7th or regimes like the Iranian regime, if people already recognize them as bad enough, why do they feel the need to lie to make it even worse? Yeah. It's because they're trying to justify literally anything. In this case, cutting off their supply of fresh drinking water. Because that's what he's talking about. Yes. Getting a desalination plant that is fresh drinking water, and those plants are incredibly expensive in an arid place like the Middle East.
Yes, it's incredibly important in a fucking desert.
Yeah.
You need it. You need water in a desert. And just to go out here and not only steal Biden's old hit, which they're cutting babies' heads off, but to add a new spin on it, add your own twist. Yeah. They're cutting women in half. What are we talking about?
Yeah, where does that come from?
I don't know. I like the people. What is it with U.S. presidents, United States presidents, lying on behalf of Israel in new and more depraved ways?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and I get it. Hamas is an Iranian proxy. They get money and support from Iran and stuff like that. But these things are different.
They're different.
And of course, not to mention that the claims were lies from the beginning. To justify the insane acts that we've seen since October 7th, and now apparently to justify a fucking regime change war in the Middle East.
Exactly, yeah. Biden said those lies to garner support from the American public for Israel to do a genocide on the people in Gaza. And then Trump is repeating those lies that were thoroughly debunked to go and not even really help try and help garner support to just do carpet bombings of Tehran and carpet bombings of Iran and kill what is now 1,200 civilians and 400 people in Lebanon, 82 children and 85 women. What are we talking about?
Yeah, man. And to see my fucking Democrats not do anything about this.
Not a single thing.
Not a single thing about this, man. It is crazy.
To see my Democrats take that and say, well, that's just not one of the justifications that we would believe, but we're still keeping the door open for him to justify this war to us in Congress.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily think there's been some people out there saying oh, Kamala Harris would be doing the same thing in Iran. You know what I mean? I don't know that that's necessarily true. She would certainly be doing Israel's bidding, as she indicated and as she talked about Iran on the campaign trail. I think she called Iran the biggest threat to the United States or something like that. But I don't think it would be this belligerent. I don't know if she'd be doing a full-scale regime change war. I don't think she would be bombing desalination plants. I think it would look substantially different. But that being said, Democrats at every step along the way built up consent for something exactly like this.
Yeah.
And now they're doing basically nothing to oppose it other than a war powers resolution which was designed to fail. Mm-hmm. So what am I supposed to think?
I'm begging my opposition party to oppose now, frankly. Just honestly, anything. Just anything other than roll over and say, well, I guess he could.
Yeah.
I guess he could go do that. As long as he strings the right words together, he can go do that, and I'll be okay with it. And then Karen Levitt goes on TV, and she's asked about the draft, and then she just says, yeah, Trump is wisely not taking any options off the table. That is the easiest gimme question ever. Asking about a draft, asking about the millions of like suburban moms across the country that are concerned about their sons possibly being drafted, and saying, yeah, maybe the president is wise in not taking that off the table. Just say no.
That's the easiest no in the world.
These people cannot help themselves with how much they want to just do death and destruction.
Yeah, I'm just saying right now, man, I am an able-bodied 24-year-old man. If they do a draft, I'm not going.
No.
Like, you are not.
Absolutely not.
I will sooner go to jail than go and fight and die in Iran on behalf of fucking Israel.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
It's not happening. It's not happening. I am not going to Iran. You're not going to get me. They're not going to do a draft anyway.
No.
Like, this just, I think the U.S. military has recognized since the end of Vietnam that, like, it's just not a thing that you can do. But I wouldn't put it past Trump to try because he thinks it would look cool.
That's true.
He thinks it because he was alive during that era. He was there when he dodged the draft.
He was alive
famously.
to dodge it, yeah.
He was alive to dodge the draft. So I can imagine him wanting to be a president, the kind of president that has a draft because he thinks it'll, like, make people patriotic or something.
It could be.
But I'm not going to Iran.
But I'm not doing that, and I would suggest, like, nobody would want to do that.
No.
It's the most politically unpopular thing you could possibly, honestly, second only to just starting a war for no reason. It's the most politically unpopular thing that you can do, man. Everything is just suicidal.
Yeah.
When it comes to this. This whole endeavor is suicidal. We're killing our own economy. Israel is fucking just continuing to make enemies out of everyone that surrounds them. And Trump is killing his, like, political favorability right now. He's expending all of his political capital to go do a war for Israel for no fucking reason.
Rosa Luxemburg really was cooking when she said it's socialism or barbarism.
Yeah.
Like, we've had wealth and power consolidate to an enormous degree. We're being plunged into these wars that nobody wants. Everything is being blamed on, like, immigrants and trans people for some reason. Prices are going up while, like, wages remain relatively stagnant and services are not getting any better. And, like, there's been like this class war going on that only one side is actually fighting. It's just like rank extraction and exploitation. A perfect example of this. I live in Detroit, so I'm a consumer of DTE. DTE is the regulated monopoly utility, regulated, quote unquote, because it often does the regulating itself. But DTE issued a couple of months ago that they were going to be adding a processing fee to all of our bills. On top of what we actually,
insane.
On top of the utility bills that we have to pay to, like, have power and keep the lights on, right?
Yeah.
So they're implementing a payment that I have to pay in order to be able to pay my bill. And it only amounts to like $50 a year or something like that. But it's the kind of shit that's going to drive me insane because they determined through whatever mathematics they did that they could squeeze us for just a little bit more and get even more profit out of the people that live in Detroit.
It's also just kind of like the audacity, right?
Yeah.
Just the audacity to tell me, no, you're being charged for this credit card processing fee. Why can't you just bump the rate $300 or $3 when you go and raise rates every year anyway?
Yeah.
And then at least let me think I'm getting one when it comes to that. No, you have to let me know that I am paying for them to be able to process my payment to them. It's fucked up.
It's just all of the problems we face, especially including this war that we've launched in Iran for no goddamn reason, is all because we've essentially created an unaccountable class of capitalist oligarchs that are completely detached from the lived reality of the rest of society. And the only way to fix the problem is to bring the economy under the purview of democratic control, because the people that are impacted by the decisions need to be the ones making the decisions. Otherwise, we get shit like this, where everyone is suffering, a few people are profiting, and nothing is getting better.
And now they get to say, yeah, you might get drafted. I don't know. We're not taking anything off the table. They say everything sucks for you. You can't afford your house. You can't afford food. You can't afford to send your kids to school. You can't afford to do X, whatever thing you want to do. And we might send you to war.
And we might kill your sons.
We might kill your sons and just pluck them out of their classes that you couldn't afford anyway to send them to go fight for us in Iran. Doing this regime change war, that's not working. And that will never work.
And if they happen to come back, if they're lucky enough to come back, they'll be scarred for life.
And we'll cut the VA.
Exactly, dude. Like, all of this, like, there are a very small group of people making a ton of money off of this, gaining a ton of influence because of this, or promoting their interest in some other way, and the rest of us just have to suffer the consequences.
Yeah. God forbid there is a draft, or also, like, even the much more close reality, because I don't think there really could be a draft. I don't think Trump could get away with it, right? But we are in a reality where it's possible that we put boots on the ground. Maybe even have boots on the ground right now. We don't know. I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? We could put boots on the ground soon, and we will send soldiers over there to go fight and die and become maimed in horrible ways, mentally and physically. They'll come back here, and then Pete Hegseth will tell them that PTSD is gay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the carrot that we get.
You just need to man up. The Fox News host is gonna be like, you just need to man up.
You just need to man up. We'll just untold amount of death and destruction if we do put boots on the ground. And even just to go back to the clip about the desalination plants and the repeating Joe Biden's lies, rerunning old hits and making up your own, saying that women are getting chopped in half. You're saying that, but we haven't seen any of that. What we have seen is the United States drop a Tomahawk missile on a girls' elementary school and kill like 100 little girls.
I heard it was double tapped, actually.
Double tapped. Interesting.
I saw a report that it was 2 missiles that hit it. Yeah,
that's crazy. And that story is insane in of itself, right? Because we bombed a fucking elementary school, right? But the reporting on it has been crazy too, because it's like obviously like things hadn't been confirmed the way that journalism moves, the way that mainstream media moves. They have to go do more analyses, talk to people before they definitively say that we did it. We did it. It's just right there on video. You can see the Tomahawk missile hit. But mainstream news is coming around to it. And because they're coming around to it, it's staying in the news cycle. So now next to every like piece of Iran war coverage is also, we killed these people in elementary school. Yeah. And when we asked Trump and Hegseth about it, they're like, oh, we're doing an investigation. An investigation.
Well, and that's how I know it wasn't actually an IRGC missile, because if it was, they would say that constantly. But the fact that Israel and the U.S. have to say we're doing an investigation means it was us.
And it's crazy because that part of Iran was being bombed by us, not even Israel. Like that was just us doing an Israel thing, an Israel-coded thing for no fucking reason.
Also, I've seen so much discourse around the fact that like, well, it's the IRGC's fault for putting a school so close to a military base. And let me just say, the U.S. has many military bases with schools on them because the families of the service members live with them.
Exactly. There's schools on there's fucking grocery stores. Go to a fucking whatever they're called on every base. Bases are just like mini like societies.
Mini Americas.
Mini Americas.
They literally are.
All across the world.
Yeah. Like in the middle of the goddamn desert, you'll find like an American suburb. It's weird.
They were putting up like McDonald's or Burger Kings and shit in the desert.
Because they want to make the soldiers feel like they're still at home.
Exactly.
Because they're very far away doing fucking horrible things.
Yes, but either way, when you look at like the point people are making, like, wow, does school be by there? And then you realize that schools are by everything. Civilian infrastructure surrounds military targets literally everywhere around the globe. Mossad is in Tel Aviv. Fucking look at all of Washington, D.C. People also live around the Pentagon and whatnot. Even beyond that, it looks like the U.S. is working with outdated intelligence. Because when I was watching analyses of this, when I was watching like a CBS or PBS or whatever fucking news video about this earlier, there's old footage that shows the school within like the bounds of a military base, which still would not justify whatever this was. And then when you actually compare it to the satellite footage now, it was taken out of the base. So if they wanna say that it was in the military base, it just doesn't work because that's not the reality it is anymore. It's on the outskirts of it. None of this works. We killed a bunch of elementary school girls for no fucking reason. And Trump wants to tell me that that's the barbarism that's going on here. We are carpet bombing Tehran. They're expanding operations. We're killing people just everywhere.
We literally lit the streets on fire, man.
Exactly.
With the oil depots that were hit.
As we'll get into in a minute, it is literally hell in Iran right now. And we're saying that that's the barbarism. The barbarism is very clearly what we're doing. So much of this was motivated. They at least claimed that this was motivated by the protests and the subsequent cracking down on the protests, killing like 7,000 civilians by the Iranian government. The former Ayatollah.
I've seen numbers range from like 3,000 to 30,000. So even like 50,000.
Either way, like civilians were being killed by regime. Bad. That's undisputed, and that's bad. So we want to solve that problem, at least ostensibly, what they're claiming, by going and killing civilians
and taking out their fresh water
and blowing up oil and just making life hell and giving them cancer. What are we doing? What is the alternative? You're an Iranian citizen. If you're an Iranian citizen who was initially happy, like many were, that the Ayatollah was taken out, that the regime might be changed, what do you have to look forward to?
Well, and it's been long enough that we might have been able to find allies in Iran that have no memory of the 1953 coup and have no like generational resentment for the United States. But now that we're killing their families and bombing their country, they're going to hate us for years to come, and reasonably so.
Exactly.
Like, if anything, this just sets U.S. interests back if we even want to talk about the issue in that way.
Like, who does this warm up to anything? Like, this is just bad. Like, both options are bad. It's all hell. Trump was tweeting, like, we're going to come save you, like, months ago. This is not saving. You are not saving them by going and destroying civilian infrastructure and just wantonly killing people. Fucked up.
That shit sucks.
That shit sucks.
Welcome back to Head in the Office, everybody. Today is Monday, March 9th, and we're still doing war reporting.
Welcome back to the #1 war reporting podcast.
Yeah, we are journalists.
Journalists broadcasting you from the front line of Michigan.
Yeah, we're reading the headlines just like Aaron Parnas here on the show today. That makes me a journalist.
Someone give me a grant.
I'm joking, of course. So today, again, it's going to be all about Iran, the fallout, the situation in Iran itself, how other countries are reacting, and what my Democrats are up to.
Because boy, are my Democrats up to nothing.
And that does seem to be the formula as of late.
Yep.
The horrors that Trump has unleashed upon the world, how Democrats are failing to meet the moment.
Yes.
Is the sort of world that we live in.
It really just is like actually astounding how feckless they are, how much they can't get anything done,
utterly
and
useless,
how much
dude.
they can't even get themselves. The only thing that the Democrats can organize to do is figure out the exact amount of votes that they will need to get something the conservatives want to do passed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all we get.
Or tank a bill that would counter their interests.
Yes, or delay a bill so that it doesn't be effectual if it does pass and you let the bad thing happen anyway. Democrats just love ceding to conservatives.
It's more transparent than ever, too.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean the perfect amount of people switched up on the war powers vote? It happens every time, dude. Every single
time.
Anyways, we'll get into it a little bit later. Before we get into all of that, I will remind you, if you want early access to all of our shows, if you want commercial-free episodes, and most importantly, if you want to support independent media during wartime. Become a patron, patreon.com/headintheofficepod. It's down there in the description. Also, next week we'll be taking a sort of brief hiatus. We'll see if the world ends in the time that we're off. But we do have content planned. One of those episodes is going to be a Q&A episode.
Long-awaited Q&A.
So if you are a patron, go to the pinned post on the Patreon, and you can leave a question that we will answer on the episode. Or if you're not a patron and you want to leave a question, go into our Discord, and it's one of the community tabs that you can click on and leave a question there as well.
Is the post on Patreon available to everybody to see?
No, that's just the patron
patrons?
only, because we're gonna, what we do. We prioritize the Patreon questions,
of course,
and we'll get to the rest of the questions.
Yeah, this is not a democracy.
It's not.
All your voices are not equal.
You are rewarded for your fealty.
Yes.
So make sure you leave those questions, and we will get to it for our Q&A episode.
I would also like to remind, with the Patreon, we launched it a couple months ago, but you can buy individual episodes if something like fucking crazy happens, and you want to get to that news. Like, say something crazy happens on Sunday, we talk about it Monday. You got to wait till Wednesday to hear it.
Yeah.
You don't want to commit to a monthly subscription. You can just get that one episode for, I believe, $3.
Yeah.
And then you're set.
We wanted to set it lower. Patreon didn't let us.
Yeah, $3 was the minimum that we set it at. So I just wanted to remind everybody that that's an option, because the things that we talk about today could be completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
And new bad things, more horrors beyond human comprehension could drop by Wednesday.
Although we'll be taking a brief break next week, we still will have content coming out, and we'll probably be back in here to record something.
Yes.
Because who knows what the... I feel like I can't take any days off.
I will be back.
Anyway, so that's Patreon. You can subscribe to all the other socials that are down there in the description. Subscribe to the second YouTube channel. Something will probably be dropping on that channel this week.
It's good, too.
So
I can assure you.
So consider it. You can also, if you want to support the show, leave a 5-star review. We're going to read our Apple ones here. First one from Jumpin' Jack / 5 out of 5 stars. 5 weapons of mass destruction out of 5.
Huge.
Earlier this year, I received the HITO gospel via word of mouth. The most powerful form of advertising. Since then, I've become a dedicated HITO head and Patreon subscriber, because I just can't wait until Wednesdays for my early week dose of HITO.
It's true.
This N95 compliant podcast has been the latest step in my years-long journey to understand that good things are good and bad things are bad. As a former conservative blue dot in the sea of red known as the Deep South, I thank Jeremy and Gage, not Sir Which is Which, and I will not learn, for their work and for trading David Montgomery to my Houston Texans.
That's fucked up. Now that's insane.
I fully expect Knuckles to be ground into dust next season by the team of turnstiles we call our offensive line.
Yeah.
Thank you, HITO, and thank you, HITO men, and keep up the great work.
And that we will. This next review from Emily Cheese. Love my white boys. Ever since these two Midwest quirked up white boys came into my life, I've never had more hope for the future of decent Gen Z men. Y'all would absolutely mog clavicular. I would only hope. As a resident of Momdanistan by way of Montana, these boys help me talk to my like-minded, woke, coastal, elite friends and my conservative friends and family from home all the same. I'm so grateful for HITO, and most importantly, I condemn political violence, free Palestine, and go Bills.
Imagine if people that moved from one state to a liberal city like New York City acted like diaspora politics do.
Oh, true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Actually, this is good for Montana. But
yeah, taking their healthcare away is actually great for them. They've been asking for this for years.
You move from Kansas to New York, and you're like, actually, I understand why they took trans people's licenses away and didn't tell them.
Yeah, I would never advocate for dismissing the opinions of people who have family that are being impacted by U.S. foreign policy. Of course, we should leave room for people to talk about it. But it does feel like a lot of the time when diaspora politics comes up, their only intention is to get the U.S. to bomb their home country.
Because the only people that seem to get platformed are the ones that are bomb.
That's true. Yeah. This next review from JG Chahud. Perfect complimentary coverage. I get most of my news from whatever Apple News feeds me, but I always felt like I was missing stuff when it popped up on Substack or social media, where other podcasts regurgitate the most ear-catching headlines from the Wall Street Journal and New York Times. HITO puts an effort to connect the dots through an openly biased but critical lens. Huge. I'm officially a Kennedy package donor because we need more independent voices like yours. Thank you so much.
Huge endorsement. Big agree. Big on this review. Damn near perfect. This next one, 5 out of 5. Josh Shapiro presidential bids from Ezekiel Young. Let me start out by saying I condemn Hamas and all forms of political violence. I was gifted HITO by the TikTok gods at the beginning of last summer. I made the wise financial decision to join the Patreon. Big on that being a wise financial decision. When I started to distance myself from Pod Save America back in December after John, and John's terrible takes on everything. Recently, I pulled my money from Crooked Media and went up a tier on Patreon.
Hell yeah.
I'm hoping to join the buy a house and cash tier very soon as someone who lives in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where the median house price is $3 million. I will live vicariously through you guys when you purchase a home in cash. Your guys' takes are always spot on, and I've even converted my coworker into a HITO head. Shout out BH Steve.
Yeah, man.
Big shouts out.
Back to the rant at the beginning. Nobody can afford anything. $3 million for? Are you kidding me?
If you're in the right age demographic, Trump is wisely keeping the door open for you to go to war, to fight for him.
Yeah. Maybe then you can get a 50-year mortgage when you come home.
Who wouldn't want to?
This next one from Caro Cruz, the only men allowed to have a microphone. I love these quirked up Midwest white boys for giving me hope that someone else sees how absolutely insane the political landscape we're in right now, and I'm not just some type of Cassandra from the Trojan War. I joined the Discord and keep my notifications on ESP now with the Iran war that will totally be over in 2 weeks. Trust me, bro. And lastly, I condemn all forms of political violence.
Banger. This one, 5 out of 5. Broken Marine arms from Sergeant Dumpster Fire. From former Marine and fellow Midwest white boy, I condemn all forms of political violence. These quirked up white boys make listening to the collapse of the American experiment bearable while also making me laugh. Don't let the constant deluge of awfulness dampen your humor. It keeps many like me going during these dark times. From a fellow Lake Erie bro, go Browns. I look forward to every new episode. Keep up the amazing work, boys.
Valid. Yeah, sometimes I feel weird giggling about this stuff, cracking jokes.
Yeah.
But I don't think I can change.
No, I can't do it. It's just who I am. It's in my DNA.
Also, a lot of people have been leaving comments about the way we say nuclear. It's not going to change.
I've been
saying it like, listen, man, we've corrected the way we say things many times throughout the show. I don't think I can do that one.
Yeah, no, Minneapolis to Minneapolis. Yeah, sure, I'll give you that one. Iran to
Iran.
Yeah, I'll give you that one too. Nuclear, that's staying.
Nuclear to nuclear, I can't do it, man.
Wait, what's the? What
I think it's nuclear.
It's nuclear.
Or I'm probably saying that wrong too. It's not going to change.
Yeah, I'm not changing. I'm sorry. It's going to be what comes out of my mouth, and that's what you get.
You better hope they don't drop nukes on Iran. Otherwise, you're going to get lots of.
You better hope this gets out of the news cycle, so you don't have to fucking hear it then.
Yeah.
But until everybody stops bitching about it, here I am.
Yeah, it's the way that it has to be. And we all have to compromise. This is your compromise, right? So getting into the news here, the situation in Iran continues to deteriorate in ways that are almost impossible to articulate.
Yeah.
They really are taking the Gaza approach here, and the level of destruction is just, I mean, again, unspeakable.
Yeah, it is really just, our strategy seems to literally just be bomb them into submission.
Yeah.
And it's not going to work.
Yeah. Even with like, and you know, I've been listening to a lot of, I want to say up front, like I don't know shit about like war logistics.
Yep.
I don't know shit about strategy when it comes to war, but I've been listening to a lot of people who seem to know what they're talking about. And it seems like we're fucking up in almost every way imaginable.
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of people say we're running out of munitions. I've been hearing a lot of people say that like, even though we use like precision bombs, it's not going to do shit. That shit just doesn't work.
Yep.
So I don't know. Seems like we're not doing a very good job, even if our genuine goal was to do regime change.
I've been like trying to like figure out like the munitions thing, because it feels like that's like a big part of the story that like I'm just not equipped to talk about. So I've been trying to read about it, but I just don't know where to fucking read about it, because I don't know what's true and what's not.
Yeah.
How do you even begin to like learn that information? But what I've seen, it looks like we're running out of missiles, and I think that's corroborated by the actual reporting that says that Trump is, or like administration officials are floating invoking the Defense Production Act, and they're meeting with defense contractors to talk about ramping up production.
I did see a tweet from Lockheed Martin that said we're ready to increase production.
Oh, lovely! I love that.
Just. Oh, okay.
You know a Lockheed Martin executive saw all the Twitter analysis about us spending like 5 years worth of Tomahawks in 5 days, and he's like, oh, He started frothing at the mouth.
As we said at the beginning, man, some people are going to make a fuck ton of money off of war while the rest of us suffer, or like the rest of us suffer in terms of the United States. Like we just have to pay increased prices.
Yeah, we'll have to pay like gas prices. And
while people abroad are literally dying with our tax money. Yeah. And it's going to be a
But I mean, as we'll talk about later, like the median American voter will care more about their gas going up 50 cents than 1,200 Iranians and counting dying.
Well, gas has already gone up 50 cents.
Gas has already gone up, baby. Gas went up in 2022 and everyone turned into suburban Hitler.
Dude, nobody forgot. Years later, they remembered that gas was too high back then.
Motherfuckers forgot 9/11. Considering like all the recent coverage we get, like every September that rolls around, it gets less and less like important to people. Nobody ever forgets that time they had to pay $5 a gallon. Crazy.
And like, hey man, it's the material conditions.
And I mean, I do remember when I had to pay $45 to fill up my car, and I'm like, this is outrageous.
And it was.
It was.
For a country that drives everywhere, gas prices going up. Not going to make people happy.
No public transit, no other option. Like we joke, like gas gets expensive. What are you going to do? Not pay it? It's like I got to go to work.
Exactly. Like I can't not drive the 15 miles.
Yes. I just got to try and budget for it, I guess.
Yeah, so not great. But as of March 9th, we hit oil infrastructure. Over the past weekend, we hit oil infrastructure. Again, as we said at the beginning, lighting streets on fire and sending these massive plumes of black smoke into the sky. I will say, and some people were saying it was like raining oil, essentially. Yeah. This is causing generations of cancer.
Well, yeah, it's that, and Iranians were warned to like stay inside, not only because of like the toxic fumes and like whatever air pollution is going on, because we hit like an oil depot or an oil refinery or whatever oil infrastructure that we hit in there that blew up fucking oil, which burns famously.
Yep.
Right?
It burns like forever.
It
by
burns
the way.
like forever.
That's like the main. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't like Saddam hit oil fields when they were like retreating out of Kuwait?
I think so.
And then everyone was like, "Hey, you can't do that. That's a war crime causing cancer and stuff."
Yeah. What? Look where we are now.
Just like Saddam.
Wouldn't we support him?
Well,
at least a little.
He was our guy.
He was our guy. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. Right, outside of just like the oil fumes and the air pollution, I saw that Iranian citizens were also warned to avoid the acid rain that was going to fall from the sky because of that, and that's just hell.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's just Yeah, again, unspeakable war crimes, man. Speaking of war crimes, as we played at the beginning, we hit some freshwater desalination plants. As we said, very important infrastructure in the Middle East. In response, Iran hit another freshwater desalination plant in Bahrain. War crime on war crime on war crime.
Yeah, no, that's the thing here. And Iran did explicitly state the U.S. striking their civilian infrastructure as a reason that they now can go and strike civilian infrastructure. Like, it's just everything is continuing to descend further and further and further and further. And how do you pull out of this? Like, how does this only be a 4-week operation when every piece of news that comes out, or at least every news about like a bomb that we dropped or a place that we hit comes out, it just gets worse and worse. And then we get a response that's worse and worse. And then we get the IRGC doubling down. And then we get Trump doubling down. And then we get Israel doubling down and also invoking Amalek. And then we double down again. And it's just this fucking cycle. It's all just this negative feedback loop into killing more civilians.
Yeah. And like, as we've said before, I'm not one to like trust the Iranian regime. The IRGC sucks pretty bigly, but it does seem to me like they think they're in a war for their very existence.
And why wouldn't they?
And it does seem that way, right? Like, that's the way that America and Israel have been talking about it. And for the United States and Israel, this is a war of choice. So it makes sense why Iran is willing to hit literally everything, talking about like freshwater desalination plants and stuff. And it doesn't make sense why the U.S. is doing that and setting the precedent for Iran to then go and do it.
No, absolutely. Because like Iran, they got the passion. Yeah, their heart's in the game.
Not to say that I want Iran to cut off fresh water for more people, but I'm just saying, like, why is the United States setting the precedent for it? And why have we put them in a position where it seems as though they believe that they're battling for their very existence?
No, I mean, we gave up any bit of moral high ground we could have had when we did the invasion in of itself, when we started bombing them, even like irrespective of killing a bunch of girls in school. Like, we already had given up the moral high ground, and now we are just continuing to cede it. Like, it's just, it's a downward spiral, dude. There's no like good guys here.
The excuse for hitting like hospitals, schools, freshwater plants, and all this other stuff is like, oh, well, it's being used by the IRGC. It's also being used by civilians.
No, exactly.
That's the key component, is like, as you said at the beginning, like military infrastructure and civilian infrastructure are either right next to each other, or civilians and the military go to the same place for like their water and food and healthcare.
Or they just like live in the same place. Like what was happening in like Lebanon when Israel, I don't even want to say first invaded it. In one of Israel's many invasions into Lebanon over the last like 2 years.
They just invaded.
They just invaded again. Yeah. In one of Israel's many invasions into Lebanon, like there were like all these, the strikes that leveled an apartment building. building.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, fucking Hezbollah guy lived there. Yeah, so did regular people. Like, that's the other thing is U.S. Central Command or Pete Hegseth, there's some like high up military people. They're trying to defend the strike on the Iranian school. They're trying to defend killing 100 schoolgirls, possibly even double tapping it, at least one tapping it. But they're trying to say the U.S. never targets civilians. It doesn't matter if your intent wasn't to hit a civilian, even though at this point, maybe it was. I don't really know any other reason why you would bomb a school or whatever. So many of these strikes happen, and we're launching bombs at these places that civilians are also in.
Yep.
Like, sure, you may be targeting some IRGC guy, or you may be targeting some Hamas guy for Israel, or some Hezbollah guy, or some whatever military target that you say is valid, but people are around them. Sometimes you have to level an apartment building to kill these people, and we've demonstrated that we just will, or we will be okay with our allies doing that. So you can't really go out there and say that you never target civilians when civilians just so happen to always get caught up in the crossfire.
Yeah. No.
It's crazy.
It's not good. Iran has continued to strike targets around the Middle East in places like the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and so on. Apparently, Saudi Arabia just reported its first deaths over the weekend.
And I think they were migrant workers, too. Just another like layer to the tragedy.
Yeah. Well, and that's like most of Saudi Arabia's population, I think.
Yeah.
is people who come from other countries and work. There seems to be some genuine disagreement within the Iranian regime about this strategy. President Pezeshkian of Iran apologized last week for its attacks on Arab neighbors, while the IRGC said the attacks are going to continue as long as American and Israeli assets and personnel are fired.
The president did walk that back, though.
Yeah.
He walked back his apology, and everyone has sort of consolidated around the idea that this is an existential battle for them.
Yep. So it seems like that is going to continue. Like you said, there was a bunch of disagreement, but like, it's going to happen.
There was public disagreement for a brief moment, and then like an hour later, everybody fucking fell in line.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened. I don't know who did something, but it seems like they really are just doubling down.
Yeah, as we said, oil output for the region has plunged. Gas prices are going up. $7 gas when?
When?
Yeah.
Maybe soon.
$80 tank?
Maybe soon.
$80 tank when? You got to remember, like a lot of people have been like, oh, well, there's other places to get oil. Venezuela has oil. The U.S. has oil and stuff like that. But oil markets are global.
Yes.
OPEC is a cartel that sets the prices for everybody.
Yes, and also 20% of the world's oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz, which is closed.
Effectively closed, yeah.
I don't know what you're going to do when a fifth of the world's supply is just gone.
Yeah, and Saudi Arabia and the UAE and these other countries with a lot of oil are looking at the U.S. and they're like, dog, what the fuck are you doing?
Saudi Arabia, one of the fucking oil countries there, just recently announced that they are stopping like new like refinement production because their stocks are full and they do not have a way to get it out as quickly as they would through the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to pipeline it over to the other sea or some shit like that. I don't know the geography of the area. I'm not an expert on this. I just know what I read in the news. They're trying to pipeline it out, but it's way too slow, and so they just can't make more oil as their stocks are just completely full because they can't get it out of the place that a fifth of the world's oil goes out.
I saw the administration wanted to lift the sanctions on Russian oil.
Yep.
Which is very funny.
No, it is funny.
I don't know if that would make up the difference, and I also don't know if that's like possible, but we'll see.
Yeah, and it's also just like, who are they going to sell it to us? I don't know, and if they do sell it to us, that's just going to fund invading Ukraine.
Yes, no, exactly.
Like everything is hell, and all of this has happened because the United States just so poorly planned this, and two, and more importantly, just did the evil thing.
There's no reason for any of this, man. Meanwhile, Israel has continued strikes on Lebanon in addition to Iran. Something like 400 people were killed by Israel in the last week in Lebanon.
Half of them were women and children, by the way.
And I saw like
classic Israel moment.
Tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people were displaced and had to move north in Lebanon. So yeah, just taking this opportunity to strike anyone and everyone. Once again, man, Iran often gets the accusation that they're the biggest state sponsor of terror in the world. And sure, they do sponsor terrorist groups, but look at what we're doing in the region.
Yeah, Iran will sponsor them by giving them like money. And maybe there's a radicalism element there. Maybe there are people in the regime that are like hyping up their proxies to do whatever. But I would like to like seriously put forward the idea that like look at what America has done throughout the last like 80 years.
Yeah.
And look at how much terrorism we have sponsored, not with money, but by like, I don't know, killing 100 girls in elementary school.
Well, and sometimes with money.
And also with money too.
Like Israel gets our money, Saddam Hussein got our money in the 80s. In fact, Ronald Reagan sold arms to Iran in the 80s after the Islamic Revolution. We've been giving money and arms to these groups forever.
We've loved terrorists historically.
Well, Ronald Reagan funded the Mujahideen, the group that eventually became the Taliban and Al-Qaeda.
We have just been a state sponsor of terror monetarily, and we've also just been a state inspirer of terror with all of the horrible interventions that we just refuse to learn from.
Yeah.
Or in the words of J.D. Vance, that we've overlearned from. God damn.
Someone's really got to explain to me, if Trump is waging this war to like liberate Iranians, quote unquote, which that pretext has already sort of fallen away, but let's pretend that they're serious about that. why are we hitting civilian infrastructure?
You really got to wonder. You really just got to wonder. It's almost as if Trump saw the protests that were happening and Benjamin Netanyahu was in the phone being like, now's a great time to do this. Now's a great time to do this. Go out there and tweet this, and then we're going to get him in a month.
Yeah. And it does seem like every piece of evidence is pointing towards this being premeditated, which makes me question the whole Marco Rubio thing that we covered last episode where he was like, oh, Israel was just about to strike, so we had to.
Yeah.
It seems like that was a lie, and they were just like working it out together the entire time.
No, it seemed like, because like what the reporting indicates is that this might have been planned like weeks in advance.
Yeah.
At least some outlets are saying that. So it's like when Marco Rubio went and said that, oh, we did this because of Israel, was he just like scrambling to make up something? Did he think that would like make the American public feel better?
I don't know. That's like the worst thing you could say in this political environment. I guess it still could be true, because even if they were planning it for like 4 months ahead of time, like the date was already set, it could be true that still Iran or Israel was striking first, and that would have precipitated an attack on U.S. bases. True. But that could still be true, even though it was all planned and premeditated.
Yeah, it was just planned for Israel to strike first.
Yeah,
there was no dragging into it. And
that was the leak before it started. It was like, we're trying to get Israel to strike first, so it justifies us striking next.
That's true.
So
I guess he just said it, and he fucking man. Like, how do you parse through any of this?
Yeah.
How do you go and how do you listen to what these people say, because they're going to go out there and Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump and whatever general is going to go out there and lie and do whatever, and sometimes those lies are just the truth, and it's so just endlessly fucking confusing.
And the reason I brought that up is because there was sort of this notion after Marco Rubio dropped that line about like, oh, Israel's about to strike, so we just had to.
Yeah.
There was this notion that like Israel dragged us into this war, and I was already sort of suspicious of that by default. And I think based on all the reporting now, it seems as though we were planning this together for a long time.
Oh, for
and
sure.
The only guy that really needed to be convinced was Trump.
And
as we'll get into, there are some very particular ways that he got convinced.
Yeah, and when we're talking about like Israel, whether or not Israel dragged us into this war or not, you kind of have to think about, well, there's a lot of U.S. interests in this government that just wanted this war to begin with. So if Israel's going to do something, they had the opportunity. Many Democrats. Apparently. Alyssa Slotkin. Which shout
out Chuck Schumer.
Seems like she wants this war pretty bad. Seems like she is literally itching for a justification. Alyssa Slotkin, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, these other fuckers.
They're begging Trump, like, just give us anything, man.
Give us anything, bro, please. And then I'll go tell my constituents that this is good and righteous and just and holy. Like, it's fucking bonkers, right? But it's like, America just wanted this, and America meaning that like our government did want this. And I guess Marco Rubio made a flub. Maybe he tried to blame Israel, thinking that would make things better. I don't fucking know.
Well, Rubio might be the one guy who doesn't want to do this because he wants to kill Cubans.
This is all just a distraction from military buildup and complete occupation of Cuba.
Yeah, which, I mean, we are like starving Cuba out. I think we should probably do a segment on that sometime soon. But like, shit in Cuba is not good. But I think Rubio really does want to just focus on killing everybody in Latin America.
Maybe Rubio thinks Israel dragged him into it because he's like, fuck, if I didn't have to deal with these guys, then I could go do Latin America. Then I could take over my hemisphere.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. What happened to the fucking the Don Roe doctrine? I thought we were just sticking with the Western Hemisphere.
No, literally, it was all this about the Western Hemisphere, and then all of a sudden we're in the Middle East again. What are we talking about?
Again, Bush took over. Over the past few days, Trump has been calling for Iran's unconditional surrender.
Nice.
And that's not going to happen.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And as they've said, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, Trump was aboard Air Force One over the weekend, and he said, quote, "At some point, I don't think there will be anybody left to maybe say, we surrender."
Dog, what are you talking about?
Is that not genocidal language?
That is. You are the one that's bombing these people into submission. Mm-hmm. So you're just admitting you're just going to go out there and you're going to keep bombing and killing and death and blah, 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 and killing civilians till whenever you want to stop?
Yep.
How is there like no mechanism to stop any of this?
Yeah, well, Democrats.
Yeah, no. Once again, I'm begging my opposition party to actually oppose.
Yeah,
but it won't happen.
That would be great. Trump is still keeping the door open to U.S. boots on the ground. As of right now, he hasn't publicly committed one way or the other, but I think it's notable that he's leaving the door open and not saying no. It's important to point out that no regime change has ever happened without boots on the ground at some point. Aerial bombardments, even with precision bombs, just don't work.
Well, it's like, how would it?
Yeah.
How are you going to defend it? Like, how are you going to defend your new regime that's not popular?
In fact, bombing runs often just bolster the population behind the current regime.
Well, look what's happening right now in Iran.
Look what's happening right now in Iran. But I also think of like the carpet bombing of London during World War II, right? Like the Nazis were dropping bomb after bomb after bomb on London. And people just felt more emboldened to support their army.
Yeah.
Because like
they have something to rally behind.
Exactly. They got something to rally behind. Even in like a case like Guatemala, where most of our work was like covert or like specialized bombing runs, we were still funding an insurgency in that case. And the insurgency was sort of hyped up. A lot of it was propaganda to just get like the population to be afraid of this imminent invasion. But even in that case, we still had some type of proxy on the ground. And in this case, we got nobody. The Kurds are like, I'm not doing that, dog. Yeah. So I don't know what the plan is here if it's not boots on the ground.
Just like genuinely, how would that even work in the first place? You bomb the fuck out of Iran, you destroy infrastructure, you kill civilians, you do all of this like horrible doomsday disaster catastrophe shit, and then the regime finally changes, and then you stop, and then it's just gonna stay changed.
Yeah,
you think that's gonna happen? You just stop the air bombing, you stop the air superiority, and they're just gonna continue doing whatever the fuck you want. You can't do this without boots on the ground, and that's not an argument for boots on the ground. That's an argument to say that we never should have got ourselves in here in the first place.
Yeah, just that like it won't work to drop bombs. Like these unmanned drones dropping, these precision bombs over Tehran, like it's not going to work to oust the regime. You're going to eventually have to occupy at least some portions of the country. And as we've been talking about, Iran, very mountainous, very big, lots of people. It's not going to work. And it's not going to work.
It's also like there is like a genuine like question or discussion to be had about like where the fuck do you go from here? Like obviously the easy solution to all this was to never do it in the first place.
Yeah.
But the cat's out of the bag. Like you can't really put that genie back in the bottle. What you should do, obviously, in my opinion, is stop bombing them right now. Stop doing what we're doing. Re-enter negotiations and see what we can salvage. But even that, like there's still going to be hurt feelings, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
There's still going to be people in Iran, whether it be citizens, whether it be the IRGC, whether or not be the new Ayatollah that we'll talk about in a second, that may or may not want revenge or may not want to get back at the U.S. and Israel for the horrible things they just submitted their populace to.
Yeah, no, there's really no way out of this for Trump, because if he does that, if he stops the bombing and says, let's go back to the negotiating table, then it's going to look like a complete loss. Yeah. And I don't think he can handle that. But the other option is to put your foot on the gas and continue this, which is also going to look like a complete loss in the eyes of the American public, because more service members are going to die, more money is going to be wasted, and more deaths are going to happen in Iran. So there's really no way out of this. The only way out of this would have been never getting into it in the first place.
Yeah.
And obviously we're past that point.
Yeah, no, because it is a situation where it's like the way out of this is just, or the world after this is just a shittier place than it was before.
Yeah, there's no off-ramp anymore.
No, because one, people have died that didn't need to die. American service members, Iranian civilians, Israeli civilians, Lebanese civilians, like people have died that didn't need to die had this had not happened. And tensions are just going to be higher no matter what going forward. If the bombing campaign stopped today and if we re-entered negotiations and they were actually real this time and not the fake make Jared Kushner rich negotiations that we had beforehand.
Give Jared Kushner a vacation and wherever the fuck he was.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? How do you actually get out of this? And it sucks because my Democrats see that, and they see that as an opportunity to just go all in, go all gas, no brakes on the war, fund a fucking what could turn into a genocide with the way that Donald Trump is talking, do whatever we can to try and salvage Iran. But like, what salvaging is there for any of this?
Yeah, no, I genuinely don't see a way out of it, especially along the lines that Trump typically thinks. There's no victory here.
No.
Unless the Iranian regime surrendered, and it doesn't look like they're willing to do that in any way.
Yeah,
especially because they just chose a new leader who's more conservative.
And when we talk about whether or not like Trump thought this was going to be like Venezuela, where he could just kidnap Maduro and then Dulce Rodriguez, was it Dulce Rodriguez that replaced him?
Yeah.
Or is that the opposition leader?
No, Dulce Rodriguez is the VP that took over.
Where Trump where Trump kidnapped Maduro, and then Dulce Rodriguez took over, and it wasn't a regime change. It was just it was just a promotion for the regime or like whatever the fuck was going on. Could he have even done that with Iran? I don't know, because some people thought that maybe that's what he thought this was going to be. I'm not sure, because he's been hard line on the new Ayatollah has to be somebody that we approve of.
Well, and that's why this is incredibly Bush coded. Because Bush was geeked off of the victory in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Like the immediate victory in Afghanistan. And then that's what got him geeked up to go to war with Iran, or go to war with Iraq. And that did not end well. Neither did Afghanistan, by the way. But at first it was looking good and people were supporting him. He was like, oh, war is easy. I got the shit in the bag. And then he got too high in his own supply.
Yes.
And I think that's exactly what happened with Trump. But yeah, like Venezuela, fundamentally different. Venezuela essentially is just like a gang masquerading as a country.
Yeah.
And that's how it's been for a while. And it's a shame, but that's just how it is. But Iran, as we've been talking about, the legitimacy of the regime, which is spread out throughout their entire society, is built upon being in opposition to the West. And it doesn't make any sense why they would abandon the regime when the West is confirming everything that the regime has accused them of doing.
The West has given them more resources reasons to oppose the West, and you think that the West is going to solve this fucking problem.
Exactly.
You think that we can literally bomb these people into submission? Whether or not we bomb the Iranian government into submission and the IRGC surrenders, or even the IRGC is no more, do you think that the people who watched thousands, possibly what could be thousands around them die, are just like going to be cool with that? Are going to see that as a necessary sacrifice? It's not going to work. And then accept Western sponsored rule. It didn't work before. It's not going to work now.
Well, yeah, and they've been Trump administration officials have been talking about like installing the Crown Prince Pahlavi back into power, and it's like the Crown Prince of Iran has as much claim to Iranian leadership as I do.
Yeah,
that is to say, none. Like, what, you're gonna put him back in the country and expect him not to get like killed in the first few days?
Yeah,
come on, man, it's ridiculous.
No, it's ridiculous, and it's all ridiculous. And even if we're going back to just like boots on the ground, and the conversation around boots on the ground, I don't even know, because it's like, of course they're gonna tell us. They're not even telling us no. I was gonna say, of course they're gonna tell us no, because you would expect them to lie to us, but they don't even want to do that. It has been insane to watch Republicans and Caroline Leavitt try and spin what's been going on and the lack of information that we've received as brilliant strategy on behalf of Trump for not closing any doors. None of this is brilliant. I want a lot of these doors closed. This door shouldn't have opened to begin with.
Well, yeah, and it's like the one thing you want out of like a military campaign is ambiguity.
Yes.
And like Pete Hegseth, I think, did a press conference on like Friday or over the weekend or something like that, and a reporter asked them like, okay, what's the strategic goals and how are you going to get it done? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you our plans.
Yeah, well, because he doesn't have any plans. He's too busy writing slam poetry.
Well, yeah, he's too busy asking ChatGPT to write him slam poetry. But also, like, you are ostensibly a leader in a democracy.
Yeah.
You're accountable to the people. The military isn't your military. It's the military that protects the people. You owe us answers of what you're doing with our tax dollars.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
And it's been crazy to watch like government accounts Freedom post about this. Like I saw a post that was like freedom and a bunch of like jets flying through the sky, and it's like, once again, like it's tired and it's cliche to be like, my freedom's not over there, but like my freedom isn't over there. Like it's like true and real as much as it's been overplayed. It just so happens to be overplayed because we refuse to learn any lessons from our past endeavors in the Middle East, man. But I can guarantee you, my freedom is not in wherever you bombed to kill the previous Ayatollah and wherever you will bomb to kill the new Ayatollah.
My freedom's not in a girls' school in Iran. Like it's
my freedom is not in a desalination plant. My freedom is not an oil refinery or an oil depot. My freedom does not. My freedom is not predicated on whether or not acid rain is falling on the people of Tehran.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it, man. None of that makes me more free. In fact, what is going on right now is restricting my freedom because of what's happening with gas prices.
Yeah.
But that's a conversation for the end of the episode. Right now, I do kind of want to switch gears and focus on the new Ayatollah.
Shout out.
Because on Sunday, a new Ayatollah was appointed. And like the clerics that appointed him appointed Khamenei's son to succeed him. Yeah. So let me get this straight. In our regime change war, that's not a regime change war. We replaced Khamenei with Khamenei.
Yep.
Making it not a regime change. So goal succeeded. If it's not a regime change war, success.
Yeah,
mission accomplished.
They were
put the banner up.
We went from Ayatollah Khamenei to Ayatollah Khamenei.
Exactly. We replaced Khamenei with Khamenei. This is perfect.
And like all reports suggest that his son is more hardline.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. He's got ties with IRGC. He was doing all this stuff. Like he's a dickhead.
I've been seeing people like take issue with this notion of blowback, right? It's this term to describe unintended consequences of military or covert operations that empires take on. But like the blowback just describes like consequences of actions.
Yeah.
And this was one of the most predictable ones. The regime would be entrenched based on Western aggression because once again, the regime is built upon this notion that we need to oppose the West.
Yeah, no, this is 100% just a double down by Iran. And that's why I started the episode talking about how things are spiraling and everyone is doubling down on just like the most horrible thing. This is Iran coming together and rallying behind the like old regime and digging their heels in and saying, no, we are going to fight this till our last breath. Yeah. This is why I say that Iran is treating this as if it's an existential threat. Because if they don't continue, if they allow the U.S. to instill whoever they would have thought was preferable, then that's weakness. Then that's them crumbling from the inside. That's why the president went and retracted his statement about what we're going to stop attacking the Arab nations that surround us. That's why everyone is consolidating around this idea of strength and protecting themselves against Western aggression, which I can't even like argue isn't aggression because it just is. That's just what's happening.
It's unprompted aggression. Yeah, we're proving them right. Yes. Which sucks because the IRGC is not a good regime. I don't like them. But again, the way that I think you undermine them is by subverting their expectations and engaging in diplomatic talks and instilling economic interdependence so we can actually ask them to make some changes to their country.
Exactly.
And by the way, before this was happening, before Trump got a bunch of protesters killed and said, I got your back, Iran was moving in a positive direction. And it's hard to say from the West because our lens of them through our media is so distorted. But the protests were a good sign, right? People were rising up against the regime, were at least pushing for better changes. I know that Iran had made some changes over like the last 5 years or so in terms of the treatment of women. Women have had like a more public presence, and they've been able to engage in more things that they were previously denied in the past. So like things were happening. This sets them backwards.
Yes.
It entrenches the power of the regime. That's not good.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are they going to... You think they're just going to... They already weren't letting people protest back before the U.S. invaded. You think the U.S. invades, bombs the fuck out of them. You think they're just going to let protests resume? You think they're just going to let that shit happen? No, everything will be doubled down. Everything will continue to deteriorate. It all fucking sucks. Yeah. On the new Ayatollah being confirmed or appointed or whatever, though, it is important to also let you know that Israel's military has been threatening to kill whoever succeeds Ayatollah Khamenei. In this case, it's Ayatollah Khamenei.
It's so funny, dude.
Trump already said that the former Ayatollah Khamenei's son, who is now the new Ayatollah Khamenei, is an unacceptable choice. Before the appointment, in an ABC News interview on Sunday, Trump said that the next supreme leader, quote, is not going to last long without the approval of the United States. Let's see how long this guy lasts, I guess. I don't know, but we're going to try to kill him. Israel and the United States are going to try and strike him, kill him. They're going to appoint somebody else that represents another double down. They're going to appoint somebody else that the West definitely would not prefer. And things will continue to spiral.
Yeah.
What do you do?
It feels like this feels like a very elementary style question.
Yeah.
But I feel it begs asking, why should we be able to choose other countries' leaders?
No, that's a big part of this. That's a big part of this, right? But it's like considering these double downs and considering how bad everything's getting and considering how the bar just keeps getting lower and lower and lower and lower and lower when it comes to the motherfuckers dying. Right? I do kind of wonder if we're going to get to a point where we're bombing the fuck out of Iran. We already are doing that, but where it gets worse, right? And then our Democrats go out there and say, well, maybe boots on the ground is a de-escalation. You know what I mean?
Dude, I will freak out. I'll freak out.
Genuinely, there is a world. Honestly, maybe you should get ready for this because I feel like I don't want to conspiracy post. I don't want to speculate too much, but fuck. I feel like we are approaching a point or nearing a point where we could see people saying boots on the ground is a de-escalation, considering the fact that we are just killing people wantonly.
Dude, if Alyssa Slotkin comes out with the take that we should do boots on the ground because it would cause less, I'll freak out.
And that's cynical. That's an incredibly cynical view of my Democrats. Yeah. That's an incredibly cynical take. But considering the things that they've done up until this point, considering the fact that they delayed the War Powers Resolution to allow this to happen in the first place, considering the fact that they got the exact right amount of Democrats to vote with Republicans to shoot down the War Powers Resolution, they want this fucking war, man. Like you said before, you can't do regime change by just establishing aerial superiority and bombing a country into submission. You got to put people on the ground who are going to support the regime change.
Yeah, and that's not my opinion. That's history.
Exactly, and that ties into this discussion about how you de-escalate and how you move on from here and where the world is after this event happened. Yep. Because this is kind of one of those things that will dramatically alter the course of Mideast relations or Iran's status as a thing in the world for a very long time, and there are going to be consequences to this that fucking suck.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, the global order is on the line in some particular ways, and I unfortunately find myself rooting for Iran. If you're a reasonable person that thinks U.S. aggression needs to be stopped, then you have to hope for a loss here.
Yeah, and it's just there's no good fucking options here. Everybody fucking sucks so bad. But it's undeniable that the aggression that the United States has been allowed to engage in with Israel, as buddy buddies, as equals in this endeavor, is worse for the world than the status quo as it was before this happened.
Yeah. Israel is the 51st state, and for some reason they have 93 senators.
Yep.
In our Senate. Yep. I will say, though, I think it's more likely, instead of if Democrats make that argument, I will genuinely freak out.
That's an incredibly cynical take.
I think the most likely play from Democrats that want this is to say, I don't support this war. I think it's illegal, but now that we're there, we have to support our troops. Here's $50 billion.
I think that, exactly. And the boots on the ground may be an extension to that. Again, it's cynical and it's crazy, and that'd be...
Dude, I don't know what I'm going to do.
That'd be a world where I might stop voting.
Because genuinely at that point, it's what harm's being reduced? They want the same thing.
Exactly. It's genuinely insane. And appointing Khamenei's son is literally the opposite of the quote-unquote unconditional surrender that Trump was talking about on Friday, right? This is, everyone's doubling down. Everything is bad. Sometimes it just feels like all the news happens on Monday and Tuesday.
It's messed up.
But my favorite podcast drops episode on Wednesdays. I don't know what to do. It feels like they miss all of it.
That's a curse.
If only there was a platform that I could go to where I could listen to these episodes early, maybe when they record them. Do you have any thoughts?
Boy, do I have a solution for you.
Oh, do tell.
If you head over to patreon.com/headintheofficepod, you can listen to Head in the Office episodes before the Curse of Monday and Tuesday news comes out.
Really? Do tell.
And you get access to commercial-free episodes. And everybody wants commercial-free episodes.
I bet there's also a whole host of other benefits and community engagement that they offer.
And friendship.
Very true.
Who doesn't want friendship?
The most important thing.
Absolutely.
In times like this.
Back to the episode. I also want to talk about this sort of religious dimension that this war has taken on. Something that we haven't talked about a bunch, but it centers on one Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham, senator from...
Lindsey Graham, the devil himself.
Senator from Louisiana?
I think so.
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yeah. So Senator Lindsey Graham has had a seemingly outsized influence on Trump's foreign policy over the last years or so.
For some reason.
And Senator Graham is one of those guys that has always wanted outright war with Iran. He's always wanted to wipe many Middle Eastern countries off the map. And one of the ways he managed to get it this time seems to be treason.
Yeah.
And I'm not really exaggerating here. It seems like he committed treason. And this is from the Wall Street Journal. Quote, to help make the case on Iran, Senator Graham traveled several times to Israel in recent weeks, meeting with members of the country's intelligence agency. They'll tell me things our own government won't tell me, he said.
That's insane.
And this is where it gets even crazier. He spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, coaching him on how to lobby the president for action. Netanyahu showed the president intelligence that persuaded Trump to go ahead, Graham said.
So Lindsey Graham is bragging about going and lobbying foreign countries to get his own country to start a fucking war with Iran.
Yeah, it seems to be and this feels so conspiratorial, but it was just like openly reported on in the public media.
Lindsey Graham is just saying it.
It seems like a sitting senator was coaching a foreign government on how to drag the United States into war.
That's crazy.
Is that not treasonous behavior?
That should be treasonous behavior.
That's insane.
Trump tweeted that Alyssa Slotkin should face the full extent of the law for making a virtue signal that soldiers shouldn't follow illegal orders.
There was no teeth on that.
There was no teeth on that. She's supporting an illegal order exactly. Right now, if we're being real here. And yet Lindsey Graham can go over here and brag openly on TV, on mainstream media, that he is influencing foreign governments to influence us. He's giving foreign governments the tools to successfully lobby us. Because you know that Netanyahu has been begging for war with Iran. This is a U.S. senator, not even, I guess not trading state secrets, but trading state, almost secrets, how to influence the president of the United States on how to do your bidding.
What information would he be giving him that would be useful in convincing Trump to attack Iran alongside Israel?
Yeah.
It's got to be state secrets, right?
It's got to be state secrets. Or
it's got to be something.
Is it just shit to coax Trump's ego?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's
at best.
That's the only other thing other than literal treason, other than literal horrible things, man. Lindsey Graham just proves to be the devil himself, time and time again. He is always going on TV and talking about how much he wants to kill Muslims. It's fucking deranged.
Yeah, he said level Gaza after October 7th. Senator Graham has also repeatedly referred to Israel's battles as a religious war. Same thing he said about this one. As you said earlier in the show, Netanyahu invoked the story of Amalek. That's the biblical story where God's like, hey, kill all of them.
Okay.
So that's not great. And of course, there are many evangelical Christians in our country that literally believe the Israeli nation state is key to their end times prophecy.
Is Lindsey Graham one of those guys? Is that
I don't
why
know
he
what
thinks
kind of
this
Christian
is a
he
or
is.
is he just a devil?
A
demon, devil, whatever.
Yeah, I think he might just be evil. I don't know if he's an evangelical, but he certainly seems aligned with them.
Golly.
The people who have concocted this war and are in power right now believe this to be a matter of biblical fulfillment.
Yeah.
It's death cult shit.
It's insane. And they're dragging us all into it.
And it's another reason that this war can't simply end with negotiations, because Netanyahu literally compared the regime to an ancient and ineffable evil.
It's crazy. The Ayatollah is in possession of the book of vile darkness, and he is going to unleash it on all of us.
He's got a scroll of power word kill, and he's going to use it on me if we don't stop him.
That's crazy.
It's all wrapped up in this religious extremism. It can't end in Iran. It won't end in Iran because, again, a big part of this for the right is this notion of a greater Israel, which means Israel just has to keep expanding. And that's why, yet again, Democrats cannot be falling for this shit, because Democrats are acting like this is just another Middle East war or just another military engagement that maybe they can support so they get some of the voters, the moderate voters on their side, when the right literally believes this is a matter of biblical fulfillment. Yeah. You are not arguing along the same lines.
Yeah, no, and I'm talking to Alyssa Slotkin. when I say that. Like, you guys are not arguing for the same thing. Alyssa Slotkin, your CIA brain, I know what it's doing. I know what it's working. I think it's wrong and it's horrible. But your CIA brain will never appeal to the people that just want to watch the world burn.
They think it's a religious crusade.
There are people out there that think like this is a step towards them ascending to heaven and leaving us all behind.
Yeah. Yeah, and all the non-believers going to hell, by the way, which includes Jewish people in Israel.
Crazy.
Like, it's absolutely insane shit, man. Like, it's just the Christian and Jewish Taliban. Like, what's the difference?
Genuinely.
We accuse Muslims in the Middle East of all this different kinds of religious extremism. Look at what fucking Israel is doing right now. Look at people like Lindsey Graham thinking that this is a matter of like a religious war or some shit.
Well, it's that, and even like Mike Huckabee, the ambassador to Israel, going on Tucker Carlson's podcast and being like, yeah, Israel can just do whatever they want. Israel can take whatever the land they want. Yeah, Greater Israel fucks. Like, are you serious? He goes on, he says that gets published, he gets blowback for it, and then Israel's like, let's invade everyone. Let's invade the world.
Yeah, and when Netanyahu was asked like, oh, did you drag the U.S. into this war? He was like, like, what do you mean, dude? I don't know, man. There's too much going on.
He's like,
yeah, he did a fucking,
he just does an evil laugh.
Senator Palpatine laugh.
Exactly.
Dude.
He does a fucking evil cackle. And then he goes on and he's like, Trump, he's a strong guy.
Yeah.
Trump is a really strong guy, blah, blah, blah. And maybe that's the tip Lindsey gave him.
Yeah. It's just like if Israel and portions of the US, or at least dudes like Lindsey Graham, who are apparently responsible for some of the foreign policy, if guys like Netanyahu and him believe this to be a matter of like a religious war or some kind of biblical prophecy, then of course anything is justified.
Yeah.
And it's a part of like dehumanization, of course. When you call somebody an ineffable evil that allows you to do anything against them, it's gonna get everyone killed. And by everyone, I mean the whole world. Like if this shit spills over and keeps expanding and turns into a goddamn world war, I know people like to World War III post all the time, but it seems like this is more of a threat than anything else we've seen in recent memory. If this spills over, shit's gonna be bad for everybody.
No,
man.
shit's
and I'm talking more than just $7 gas prices.
Yeah.
So not great.
Not great. No, and even like beyond religious extremism, staying in forever wars is just a matter of self-preservation for Netanyahu. He needs conflicts to maintain his own power and avoid the corruption charges that he's been on trial for since he was indicted in 2019.
Yeah.
Netanyahu was indicted on like 4 different corruption charges in 2019. He was cleared of one of them, on trial for 3 currently. And then the trial got delayed because of COVID. Yep. And then the trial got delayed again because of Gaza. And the trial just continues to get delayed because of wars that he's in, because he's a wartime president.
Yeah.
It's the arguments are like the president is or the prime minister is at war right now. He can't do this. He can't like mess with this silly little trial because he has to defend the country from like existential threats.
Yeah. They can't just hold another election.
They can't just kick him out.
The right likes to accuse Zelensky of being corrupt because he hasn't held an election since Russia invaded.
Well, fuck, maybe I'm exposing myself in my lack of Israel government knowledge. Isn't Netanyahu not elected? It's a parliamentary system.
But like that counts the same thing.
Okay, yeah, all right, that makes sense. But like Jesus Christ, man. Everything is horrible.
Yeah, no, not great. Also, to get charged by an Israeli court, you got to be totally evil. Like totally and inexcusably evil to be charged with corruption in an Israeli court.
It's funny because the corruption charges are like low-key Trump coded. I'll have the link to a New York Times article in the description. You can find a way to read it. And it like goes through what they are, and they're Trump coded. Like he was like doing deals with like media companies for favorable coverage in exchange for this, and one like accused him of getting like a crazy amount of money and just like gifts for people for like favorability and stuff like that. It's just all just motherfuckers that want to like, I don't know, control the news.
Netanyahu is just Trump, but if Trump didn't like applause and instead liked killing brown people.
Yep.
Like if that was like the motivating factor of Trump. Trump does love that shit, but he likes applause.
Maybe had a little bit more of like a filter when it comes to like saying crazy.
A functioning brain.
A functioning brain.
Yeah, exactly. It is insane to me how almost every Middle East U.S. foreign policy blunder in the last few years could have been avoided completely if at any point we had a president that just told Israel no.
Yeah.
Like if Biden at any point would have been like, no, you can't do that, they would have stopped.
Yeah.
If Trump at any point, and I know like Trump doesn't give a shit, but if Trump at any point said no, then shit would have stopped. And like Biden was ideologically committed to Zionism, obviously, and was incapable of telling Israel no because of that. And Trump just doesn't give a shit. And he wants to be seen as like a strong wartime president. So he's not telling Israel no. He's also, maybe he's one part bloodthirsty, warmonger, imperialist. Maybe he's another part brain dead. I don't fucking know. But he doesn't seem capable of telling Israel no either. And again, man, like none of this had to happen this way. Nothing in Gaza had to happen this way. None of the strikes on Lebanon had to happen this way. This war with Iran didn't have to happen this way. But we just haven't had a president, or really any leader in the United States willing to tell Israel, we're not going to give you any more money.
Or even if like it's not just willing to tell Israel no, we just don't have any leaders that are willing to like chill.
Yeah.
That are willing to like actually put America first in the not Nazi way. You know what I'm saying? That are willing to like focus on the things in our own country and focus on like building infrastructure or like a manufacturing capacity here that's not related to our ability to wage war with other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we could have high-speed national rail, man. We could do it.
Exactly.
I see the map of like how China has built a bunch of rail over the course of like 20 years or something like that, and I cry every time.
Yes.
Because you can overlay that.
And
like
it would
you can
be
size
perfect.
it to proportion across the United States, and man, that would be a beautiful thing.
It would be perfect, dude. I could get anywhere.
It makes Amtrak look pathetic, like quite frankly, man.
Which it is.
Which it is. It should not take me 5 hours to get to fucking Chicago from Detroit, man. That shit should be a 2-hour trip, speed train. But no, there is a poverty of compelling, quality political commentary.
Absolutely.
And we desperately need more people across mediums to be making the difference. And that is exactly why we have launched our Substack, our newsletter, Tertiary News, 100% independent media, giving you quality summaries and commentary and opinion pieces on the most important news happening around the country and around the world.
The #1 geopolitical podcast has gone away from the spoken word and into the written word. And it's wonderful. You got to see it, folks. You got to check it out.
This is quite literally an incredible development. And if you want to be a part of it, you can subscribe absolutely for free. Headintheoffice.substack.com, and you can support your favorite bit of independent media in this hellish ecosystem.
We are vertically integrating into other realms of content to make you more informed.
Please check it out. Back to the episode.
Well, we're talking about this, and I need to take another brief moment to talk about my Democrats.
I love them.
Because I feel like they've avoided a lot of strays, or at least how many strays that they were getting like the last couple episodes, right? But Hakeem Jeffries saw that. He saw HITO's not going to have anything to talk about this week.
Yep.
Because the War Powers Resolution vote, that's just kind of blah, blah, blah. We really talked about that last week. He said, HITO's not going to have anything. Let me go on the Sunday shows and let me give him a statement, right? Okay. And here's the headline from NBC News. Hakeem Jeffries won't commit to blocking additional Iran war funding.
Bro,
the little subheader here. Why? Just why?
Why can't why can't the Democratic Party as a whole just be like, no war with Iran?
Yes. No, I'm genuinely begging the party to oppose. Yes. I'm genuinely begging for anyone in this government to have a goddamn spine and get us to like stop killing people and wasting my tax dollars.
There's like 12 Democrats maybe that have firmly said no war with Iran, but leadership can't commit to no war with Iran. Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
It's crazy. Quote, this is from NBC News. The House Minority Leader said Democrats will, quote, cross that bridge when we get to it.
Oh my God.
But added that President Donald Trump has so far failed to justify his, quote, war of choice. He's failed to justify it, and we'll get there when we get there. We'll get there when we get there has been the adage for Democrats forever, and when they get there, they fail every time.
How many people hold both ideas at the same time? That this is an illegal war of choice, but also maybe we should give them money?
No, literally, like you can't do that.
What portion of the voting base believes both of those things at the same time?
The cognitive dissonance there has got to be insane. Like, you either got to have the most crazy, like, broken brain ever, which I wouldn't put it past my Democrats, or you're lying to me.
I'm constantly told that the Democratic Party cannot run more left-leaning candidates because they need to be able to win moderates. And yet this war is popular with basically no one, and they still can't commit as a party to not funding war with Iran.
Yes.
Where does this come from?
No, it's crazy, and it gets worse. It gets worse. Okay. Again, from the NBC News article, quote, Jeffrey said the administration has so far, quote, failed to make its case for this war of choice in the Middle East, and unless Donald Trump provides a compelling rationale, he's going to have a difficult case to make on Capitol Hill. Or you could get out there and say, this war is wrong. This war is illegal. We never should have been here in the first place. We need to pull out right now.
Either it's illegal or it's not, dog.
Exactly. Well, it's illegal until I make it legal because I fuck with it.
Literally, Democrats are genuinely begging the Trump administration for anything to get him to legitimize this war. Yeah. Like they are begging for a bone to be thrown to them so they can justify this because they want to do it.
Hakeem Jeffries, go on these Sunday shows, go on your platform and tell me what a compelling rationale would be, because you seem to think there is one. Every other like moderate Democrat who's been like vague posting about Iran seems to think that there could be a compelling like rationale to give to them. Why don't you tell us what that rationale could be?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me what you need to know to justify this war?
And like Trump has already offered like a dozen different rationales. You can take whichever one you like the most. He's talked about Iran possibly having nukes. He's talked about wanting to do regime change. He's talked about an imminent threat by Iranian ballistic missiles. Like, you can take any of those and then craft your argument, but what, you want like a confidential hearing first?
No, exactly. And that's kind of another thing that I've been thinking since this like war started, is that like these moderate Democrats are getting out there and saying Trump hasn't explained himself. He has.
Yeah.
Trump has explained himself. They've been very unintentionally open about why they're doing this. They've lied about nukes. They've talked about ballistic missiles. They lied about the good faith negotiations that they weren't engaging in. And Marco Rubio said this shit about Israel. We know exactly why we're engaged in this war. It's not a secret.
It just happens that it's like totally incoherent. Yeah. But like, that's not going to change just because you get a classified briefing.
Exactly.
Like, and that's what they want. Is like, I feel like maybe half the party would have voted for this war had they got a briefing beforehand.
Absolutely.
That's what it seems like to me, based on what Hakeem Jeffries and a bunch of other Democrats have said.
It's
like,
crazy.
It's just like they can't oppose this on the merits because they don't disagree with it on the merits. They're just mad they weren't included in the process.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me, we talked about Kamala Harris a little bit at the beginning. That's what makes me wonder if maybe Kamala Harris would have done something like this because she would have gone through the correct channels. And we know the Republicans would have wanted it, and a bunch of Democrats probably would have got on board if Kamala Harris offered the same lies, but in a little bit less brazen tone.
Yeah. She probably just would have done it like year 3 or year 4.
And again, this isn't me saying that like Kamala Harris is the same as Donald Trump. I don't know that this would have happened with Harris. All I'm saying is that there is not enough of a distinction on foreign policy between Democrats and Republicans, and everybody can tell.
Yeah.
Everybody can tell that foreign policy is uniparty, and that we're being sent to another war for no fucking reason, and there's no real opposition to it.
Well, it's like we talked about like 2 or 3 episodes ago when this first happened, and we were reading the statements that like prominent Democrats put out.
Yeah.
Most of them were, albeit Kamala Harris had the only like good one, the bars in hell.
That's true.
Most of these statements said Iran can't have a nuke, and it's like, okay, you're starting by adopting Trump's framing, and then you're telling me that what he did was wrong. What do you actually disagree with? Because none of these Democrats are actually getting out here and like really telling me what they disagree with when it comes to this, other than it's an illegal war because they didn't ask me. There's been no indication that for me to actually believe that you think that this war is wrong and bad.
Yeah, that's true. Kamala Harris did have the best statement out of any of the Democrats.
But she's got 2028 hopes.
She's got.
You look at her 2024 campaign, and she ran on Iran being our greatest threat. She ran on Iran can't have a nuke. She ran on all these things. I don't fully buy into it. I am sympathetic to the argument that we could be in this position under a Democrat president too, based on how my Democrats are acting.
And I was gonna say, she was just at Jesse Jackson's funeral saying "I told you so."
Yep.
To a crowd full of people that were mourning like a civil rights icon, which is to say she's shameless, right? Like, she's totally shameless.
And what a make it about me statement.
And she's a chronic flip-flopper. This has been firmly established. So I don't, like, the statement was better than most Democrats, but I'm not convinced that she wouldn't just be doing something similar, again, less brazen, less openly murderous than Donald Trump.
Yes.
We wouldn't be getting like COD edits is what I'm saying.
No, yeah, because that's been another insane aspect of this, is the White House account just posting like whatever, like they'll post a COD edit, or they'll post like a football hardest hits compilation, but every time Ray Lewis hits somebody, it's just like a footage of us killing someone in Iran. And then they got the little kill streak, like the point marker from Call of Duty on it. Reddit occupied government for one.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm begging for like some seriousness back.
Yeah.
Because like that shit is for like, when Russia invaded Ukraine, we got on this podcast and we were making fun of the people on TikTok who were like power scaling the war like it was an anime, like it was Goku versus Superman, right? Talking about different feats being like the munitions that Ukraine had versus what Russia had. And they were doing all that, and they were getting really fucking nerdy about this war that was like killing people, right? We were making fun of them, only for our government to take that and do it, but so much worse and so much more shameless me, and so much with even less morals than that was.
Yeah, no, those are only for Asmongold. I'm convinced they can't be for anybody else.
Dude, and it's crazy to watch Asmongold like see that shit and fucking cheer like a seal.
Yeah. You know? Oh my God, man. Jesus Christ.
That's wild. But when we're talking about things that are like, oh my God, man, we're talking about things that like personally hurt me. Like
and that's what's important. I want to center myself here.
Exactly, because
white men in the Midwest.
White men in the Midwest need to know what we think about this.
Conflict
right?
in the Mideast, I'm centering a white man in the Midwest.
Exactly. And this is something that will affect us all. And it's something that did affect us all. Again, back when Russia invaded Ukraine, gas prices went crazy and everyone became Hitler.
Yeah.
And that is a very real and important part of talking about this entire situation that we need to contend with, because like I said before, I do think the American median voter cares more about whether or not they're paying $40 per gas or $30 to fill up their tank than us killing 0 or 1,200 civilians in Iran.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's just like an unfortunate like fact of the political situation that we found ourselves
Typical
in,
American
right?
shit, yeah.
And I do want to talk about it because the Strait of Hormuz is closed, and per PBS, 20% of the world's crude oil flows through the Strait. I also saw the WAPO say that 20% of the world's like liquid natural gas flows through there too. It is just an insanely important bit of geography for global trade to function in, for the global economy.
Have you considered that it's just the cost of freedom?
Oh.
That maybe
have you considered that short-term pain for long-term gain?
And that is the latest scope,
which is crazy. Like that's also what they told me during tariffs.
Yeah,
and it hasn't been very short-term.
Can you imagine if Biden carded that one out?
Oh my God! No, they would call Democrats a death cult.
Yes.
Jesse Waters would be on Fox News saying these people worship Moloch and want to kill you because prices went up because of COVID.
Yeah.
Because the Biden inflation was a lot to do with like the fallout of COVID, reestablishing the global supply chain shock, like all this like bullshit that was going on that he didn't necessarily have like the utmost control over. And Trumpflation is because he wants to kill people and fuck your wallet.
Yeah, no, Trumpflation is because Israel wants to expand and we have to pay for that. And Trump wants to be seen as a strong wartime president.
Yes.
So you have to pay $7 gas for who knows how long.
So awesome. Just love that. Per PBS, Iraq, Kuwait, and the UAE have cut oil production as storage tanks fill due to the reduced ability to export crude. So Iran, Israel, and the United States also have attacked oil and gas facilities since the war started, worsening supply concerns. The last time Brent and U.S. crude futures traded near the current level, that it was at this morning, was in 2022 after Russia invaded Ukraine. This morning, crude oil traded at almost $120 per gallon.
Yeah.
That last time
barrel?
that happened, per barrel. Yeah, per gallon. Hey, we could be there. Who knows? I wouldn't put
give it a couple days. Give it a couple days.
Yeah. You may be going nowhere, buddy. You may be fucking walking.
Yeah, $40 gas.
Everybody's making fun of like the Amish in Ohio. Bust out the horse and buggy. Bust out the horse and buggy.
Kiddo's
right?
gonna have to go virtual for a while. Can't drive to the studio.
No, we're going to be meeting on Zoom, right? But the last time the oil was there, that happened this morning, and then prices like stabilized down at like about like $106, near $100 because the G7 got together and they're like, we may open up strategic oil reserves. That's what's going on. But the last time that crude oil barrels got to that price that they spiked at today was back in 2022. When Russia invaded Ukraine. And back then, the average price for gas was like between like $4 and $5. That shit sucked like horribly.
And that turned everyone into Hitler.
I
better see everyone turn into Lenin.
And right now, as of like today, regular gas is up on average 50 cents to a new average of $3.48 per gallon. And diesel is up 80 cents to $4.46 per gallon. The diesel bit is funny because it affects the worst truck guy you know.
Yeah.
But it's not funny because shipping runs on diesel.
Yeah.
Diesel is how you power like heavy machinery and stuff. You know, the kind of things that like these truck guys want to cosplay.
Yep.
So, you know, pros and cons to that, but I digress. Everything is getting more expensive, and that's just the price again as of today, March 9th. That's the reality.
Cool.
Things will climb. Things are going to continue to get worse. Oil is going to continue to not flow out of the Strait of Hormuz until like all of this is over. And fuck, who knows if when this is over, Iran even lets up and allows oil to go back through the Strait of Hormuz. All of this is happening to fuck your wallet and kill people.
There's just no end in sight, especially because I've seen, I think Trump said like it's going to last a couple of weeks.
Yep.
I saw somebody say 6 weeks. I think Central Command said something about like until September.
Oh my God.
So like there's no end in sight. And I will remind you that Donald Rumsfeld at the start of the Iraq War said, yeah, we'll be there for 2 months.
Okay.
We were there for 10 years.
Okay.
So,
I love that, man. Now, Energy Secretary Chris Wright on Sunday downplayed concerns about the Strait of Hormuz's closure and its effect on energy prices. President Trump called it a, quote, very small price to pay for peace in a social media post posted later in the day.
Bro thinks he's Thanos.
No, he really does. He really thinks he can just snap and kill half the globe, which he may want to do.
Small price to pay for salvation. Yeah,
that it would make everything better. I don't know. And we're going to see this. And then this is also just the knock-on effects of just this war are going to fuel more and more cries to like, I don't know, drill baby drill in the United States, and we're just gonna sink ourselves further and further and further into fossil fuels. And it's like I really just like can't understand enough how much this is kind of like a tipping point into like the worst things ever. Like the world is just awful, and the world is just a worse place because of this.
If this keeps going on, it will rival every oil crisis since World War II.
Yes.
Like, I can't see how it doesn't get worse than all the oil crises that, for example, sunk like Jimmy Carter or something like that. But Secretary Chris Wright would downplay concerns as an oil executive who's going to make a ton of money.
Oh, he's an oil executive?
Yeah,
my God, he loves this.
Well, of course, he had to step away from his position to take a government position.
Of course, he's completely like
everything's in a blind trust. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he was an oil executive before he got tapped to be Secretary of Energy.
Oh, nice. And I'm sure that doesn't await him after he's no longer Secretary of Energy. I'm sure he'll just retire into civilian life and be a regular guy and live off whatever he made before. And he's not going to re-enter the industry with new connections that he's made. With
new connections and the company he left being a lot richer because of Trump's actions. Yeah, exactly.
Because of the actions that he supported. Yeah. That is so awesome. I just, the thing that they would have castrated Biden for, the small price to pay, short-term pain for long-term gain is insane to me. And it is death cult shit.
Yeah.
They don't care about you,
and it's like they have to say short-term pain for long-term gain because there's no other explanation.
Yeah,
because like when gas prices went up under Biden, like he tried to as coherently as he could, he tried to explain supply chains in Russia, war with Ukraine, and all this other stuff. But the explanation here is Trump launched an illegal war of choice for no reason.
Yeah.
Like that's the explanation.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Like once again, like Trump campaigned on no new wars, yet here we are in another war in the Middle East, and Trump also campaigned on lowering gas prices, yet here we are, gas prices sharply increasing. Like, what do we do? The only campaign promise that he fulfilled was fucking deporting immigrants, and that's hell in of itself. Like that's a whole other issue. Yeah. All of the good things he campaigned on, he's walked back. Everything is more expensive, including gas. Your groceries are more expensive. I wouldn't even be surprised if housing and shit is more expensive. Yeah. I don't know. We're getting junk fees on DTE now. I know that's not his fault, but it is.
Biden didn't do that.
Biden did not do that. That didn't happen under Biden. And although I jest, that's a real way that people think. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
even things like that, like DTE happening, things are just getting more expensive, whether or not they're related to the direct actions of the president. They do happen because of that. And so much Obama, of this is because of Trump. It's
the thanks Obama thing. Like everybody, anytime something bad happens in your life that seems disconnected from the choices you make, you blame the government in charge. Yeah. Namely the president. And when it benefits me, I'm going to do it.
Thanks Obama was crazy PR for conservatives. I remember being in 5th grade and making those jokes. I didn't know what I was saying.
Yeah. Even Obama got in on it. He co-opted it at one point when the cookie didn't fit in the cup. And then he bombed a wedding. And then he was
Uniparty.
Yeah,
the Uniparty back in full force, man. Fuck. Yeah. That's what I have on Iran, at least today.
Yeah, I think that wraps up our coverage and then wraps up our episode. There's so much other bullshit going on right now, man.
I'm sure something happened while we were recording. I was checking all morning up until we started the live updates to see if there's anything new that I needed to add. There was nothing, at least before the show started, so this is up to date as of 12:30 on Monday.
We got a number of people asking for a third episode, but I don't even think that's enough. Because these are all pre-recorded. Damn near, you just need a constant live stream, and I'm not built for the Hassan thing, man.
I can't do it. I can't do that live. That's not me.
No, I need to be able to record something and be done with it.
Yes, set it aside, and then it's out in the world, man. But no, this is all fucked up. Once again, another reason to go to Patreon. Another reason to pay for an episode if you don't want to commit to the subscriptions. And another reason to let us know, because you're listening to this on Wednesday, if you're a Wednesday weenie, you're in the future. Let us know what happened.
Yeah, drop a comment, say, hey, here's what happened.
Drop a comment and say, hey, this is what happened, and I've made it this far.
Yeah, and we've also had a number of people asking about video episodes early on Patreon, and we might have found a way to do it.
Yes.
And we'll probably be posting about a goal pretty soon here to get us to that point, because, of course, nothing is fucking free in Trump's America.
No, absolutely not.
The reason the reason we hadn't done it before is because Patreon doesn't host video.
Yes.
You have to do it through a third party. Otherwise, you have to use YouTube, and YouTube links can get weird when stuff isn't listed publicly, and we want the early access thing. So I think we figured out a way to do it, but we'll set it up as a goal.
Exactly.
And maybe 3 episodes can be a $20,000 goal or something like that.
It can be aspirational.
Yeah. Anyways,
we all need something to look forward to.
That wraps up the episode for today. I suppose we should take a little peek at the Spotify reviews.
We should take a peek at our Spotify listeners and not neglect them.
Don't want to neglect them. There are a lot of Apple reviews today. We considered skipping Spotify.
We did. We thought about it. We mulled over just forgetting.
Well, we didn't do it.
But I couldn't.
This first one from Cosmonaut Connor, 5 out of 5 stars. You guys hear what people want. 3 episodes a week, as I was saying. I think we will never be behind the news cycle, but I digress. I condone all political violence, and my Democrats.
Yeah.
These quirked up white boys are MS-13 compliant.
Whoa, now.
P.S. When is HITO D&D night or something? P.S.S. Y'all not reading my review 2 episodes ago is the start of my villain arc.
Oh, that's fucked up. That's
Rip.
fucked up. That's
Rip.
fucked up. Yeah, my bad, guys. Yeah, every other time we've forgotten, we've actually forgotten.
Yeah.
This is the only time we've floated pretending to forget. And look, we didn't even do that. I'm a man of the people. That's what I'm saying. This next one from Ann Mold, 5 out of 5 AI LLMs being used for mass surveillance and destruction. Every day just keeps getting worse and worse, but HITO just gets better and better.
So true.
Listening to this quirked up white boys pop off twice weekly makes it all feel a little bit better and helps me to not be a doomer. I condemn all listeners who don't know who is Jeremy and who is Gage, but there is nothing I condemn more than the handful of reviews that threw shade at Gage's hairline in the past couple of months.
Wow.
So true.
So true. This next one from Sam, 5 out of 5 Democratic. All you had to do was ask, bro. Tweet. Longtime listener, second time reviewer. These two future homeowners and peace board members.
That's right.
Make me feel less insane while showing up to my 9 to 5 like nothing is happening. Always reminding me that good things are good and bad things are bad, and that bad things don't happen in a vacuum. P.S. You boys should try and get Molly Conger from Weird Little Guys podcast on for an interview. I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
Maybe if I saw Molly Conger, I would know who it is, but I don't know the name off the top of my head.
This is true. This next one from Saturn, 10 out of 10 geo-engineered hurricanes that Democrats control to hit red states. I've been a listener of this banger pod since 2023, 2022. I don't know when my education with the Midwest white boys began, but I know it's never ending. You both make being a woman of color who's studying meteorology bearable. I wish I could say that. I bet you fucked with that Noah episode we did like what feels like a year ago at this point when the thing hit
lifetime ago.
Exactly. I wish I could just say that studying earth sciences gives people good takes, but alas, putting fingers DeSantis has his propaganda everywhere. I condemn bad things and condone Clementine and OSU. Go Bucks. That's fucked up.
That's crazy. And I will say there's another comment on here asking for 3 episodes a week. If that's something you guys genuinely want, I'm gonna have to see some people lock in on the Patreon.
No. If they're for 3 episodes a week to happen, guys, there needs to be something that moves.
Yeah. It's well, first we got to get a house and cash. That's the first goal.
Exactly. And then we can add that between getting a house and cash. So it goes getting a house and cash, 3rd episode a week, Board of Peace seat. You guys can aspire towards getting us to $20,000 a month on Patreon so we can have a 3rd episode, and we can aspire towards going beyond that and getting $1 billion to sit on that Board of Peace. $2 billion, one for each of us, of course. To sit on that Board of Peace and hope it doesn't corrupt me.
Yeah, well, it might.
It could. It very well
fully
could.
might. I'll also say before we read off our Patreon list here, the next postcards have been ordered.
Yes.
We're going to be sending them out at the end of the month. Probably.
And folks, they're bangers. They're bangers.
They are absolute bangers. Sticker and postcard, I should say.
Yes.
So if you're on Patreon and you've already filled out the postcard form, then you're good. You're already set as long as you haven't canceled your subscription or anything. If you're new to the Patreon, make sure to find the form. It should be in your email when you register. You can go and find that and make sure it's all set up. And those will be sent out at the end of the month.
Yes.
So check that out.
Yes, and with that, we got to give a special thanks to the people who got us to 2 episodes a week.
It's true.
Special thanks to Caden Kraut, Chris the Postman, Christy Beck, Mike Chaplinsky, Clinton LaFed, Merrick Yeager, Caleb Joy, Rich Toro, Tari, Fergalaki, Mass Vestes, Jacob Rogers, Colton Mooberry, Fixer Punk, Jim Egbers, Beta Burrito, Cincy Alex, Joe Stenstrom, Adrian Sandoval, Chloe Sam 601, Colleen Kutch, Jennifer DeVoe, Craw Fishin, Benneth Bennington III, Alexi Benanti, Big Booty Beatdown, Sam Maloney, Ted Grizzly Boy Toy, Dictator Taste, Luke O'Shea, Cocker Tarleson, Danielle Jenks, in the word of Microsoft, Jennifer Science, Aaron and his Gundam Gundams, Darth Father, Tailored for Content, Corey Chambers, Retro Mondo, Veronica aka V, Raxon, Ash Smith, The Growler, Murder in a Trench Coat, Casey Lynn Kelly, AK Ghana, Guana Don, Zach Lantian, Austin Greif, Marcus Corbett, Caleb Roper, Taylor Rensock, Cammy, Tylen Freeman, Isaac Hodges, Madeline C, Anna Valinik, KCC, Say Yes to West, August, Particular Pickman, Sir Capilot, Jeff Sines, Brendan is Egg, Froggy Gumdrop, Jackie Boy, Shameless, Coherent Babbles, MJ is Sharp, Michaela Muncie, The Wallace 3000, Chris T, Kashan Lala, Amanda R, Tyler J, Particulon, Memfrez, Ron Sleto, Midwest Marks, Joe the Mailman, Gary from West Michigan, Shawnee GG, Juniper Not Jupiter, Stacked Crabs, I Crowley, Urban Beach, Lord of Forlorn, Holt Forsyth, Booty Snakes, Dew Fairy, Chelceratops, Austin Lima, Lane Waltz, Gorgeous Girl Mukes, Brooklyn G, Noverk the Dastardly,
Goldthorn, Eddie Book, Merlin, Cryo Bonky, Sergeant Pookie, Hoodie, Rose Grimm, Kristen, Jamie D. Young Extremist, Jack the Heathen, Archer W, Evan Mingo, AJ Torres, Elo Nico, Jake Hall, Seth Schmidt, Noah Sajas, Majawat, Ultra the Dragon, Mercy Boku, Dick Cheney in 6-inch Heels, Luke Wechter, Henry Kraggles, Tristan Ringsmith, Yaya, Asura the Atheist, Aiden Reese, Deep State Agent, Puddle Pirate, Southern Lefty, Lark 61, KC, Cannon Man, Troy H, Mark Muffalo, Nahan San Diego, Nut Mode, Nick from New Haven, Connor Nix, Sound Logic, Sleven, I Have Never Made a Woman Orgasm, John from Houston, Jordino, Haley Weibold, Pablo Vasquez, Nurse Jen, Soul DJ, Maple Big Dog, CIA Small Creators Fund, Taylor from Burnt Down Minneapolis, Northeast Nick, Aya, Retired AF and SC, Wolford G, Gayest Worm, Niles Chamberlain, Sugar Free Baja Blast, Chris and the Leftist Nurse, Fake Airplane, TJ Loves Colleen, Mothman's Gay Lover, Real Jesus Christ, Queerla, Carter Gethin, Blulu 92, 1000 Miniature Horses, Will Grant, Gay for Jeremy, Hill Libertas, Walter Vonder Vogelwide, Rad Dene, Captain Butt P, Cam Toki,
huge.
Chef Sam, Mexplique, Mealy Ducard, Call Me Bubba the Way I Receive Hito, Gina, a platypus named Icarus, K Boo, Brando What, Popo, Dilly, Quasi-Pox, Jeremy the Killer, Faded Weapon, Quasar Wrangler, Taj Baudry, Alexander Shamilton, and my mom. Thank you all so much for supporting the show on Patreon. We couldn't do it without you.
No, we couldn't. We could not be sitting in these two chairs in this new studio.
And we might even not be able to do it with you, quite frankly. I jest, of course. Your support is instrumental.
Of course. Thank you. And with that, guys, have a great start to your week if you can.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.